They say schools are supposed to be safe, but what they don't tell you is that sometimes the monsters don't lurk in shadows. They walk the halls in cheer uniforms with perfect smiles and poison behind their eyes. That bathroom, it still echoes in my nightmares. My screams, their laughter, the cold tile against my skin after they ripped off my shirt. The words they spat as they kicked me leave ugly freak. I was 16 and I thought I could handle it. I was wrong. My name is Naomi Chen. I'm a junior at Riverhill High. I've always been quiet. I like books more than parties, and I wear hand-me-down clothes because my mom works double shifts. I don't try to stand out, but that didn't save me. Not from them. It all started because of a boy, of course it did. Ben Taylor. He was smart, kind, and had this dorky half-smile I secretly loved. I helped him with trig once, and after that we talked more. Just between classes. Nothing big. But that was enough for her to notice Lena Carver. Lena was everything I wasn't: rich, popular, beautiful, and cruel. She had a talent for spotting insecurity and turning it into entertainment. And Ben. He was her on-again, off-again boyfriend. I didn't know that. Not until the day she cornered me at my locker with her army of shadows, Kylie, Brielle, and Mia. You think just 'cause you're smart you can steal what's mine. Lena's voice was sugar-laced venom. I tried to explain. Tried to say it wasn't like that. But they weren't listening. The next week they acted like nothing happened, laughing, smiling, even inviting me to sit with them once at lunch. I should have known better. I should have never trusted the sudden warmth in their eyes. Friday they told me they wanted to talk. Girl to girl, Lena said. Let's clear the air. She smiled so sweetly I almost believed her. She told me to meet her in the second-floor girls' bathroom right after the final bell. I waited until the halls were quiet and walked in, clutching my books tightly. I thought maybe she wanted to end the tension. Maybe we could move on. I stepped inside and found the lights off. Lena, I called out. Then the door slammed behind me. A lock clicked. I turned, and there they were. All four of them, smiling. Kylie shoved me first. So you do show up like a good little mutt. Brielle pulled at my backpack, ripping it off. Let's see how smart she is now. The first slap made my ears ring. The second made my knees buckle. And then Lena whispered it with a grin. Let's show her what happens when trash gets too close to the crown. They dragged me to the back corner of the bathroom like a pack of hyenas circling a wounded animal. I stumbled, hitting the cold tile wall with my shoulder. My books spilled across the floor. Someone stepped on one of them and laughed. Oops, Brielle said. Hope that wasn't important. I couldn't think. My heart pounded so loud I barely heard the insults. My eyes darted between them, searching for an exit, a crack in their formation. Anything but they blocked the door like guards at a prison gate. You really thought we'd let this slide? Lena hissed, stepping forward. Her lip curled in disgust. Ben might be a dumb boy, but you should have known your place. I didn't do anything, I gasped, backing up. Kylie leaned in her nose, nearly touching mine. That's the problem. You exist, and you don't know when to disappear. Then came the first punch. From Lena right to my stomach. I doubled over, choking for breath. They swarmed me after that open palms, fists, elbows. I tried to protect my head, curling up as best I could, but they knew where to hit. Ribs, back, thighs. You think just 'cause you read books you're better than us? Mia sneered, grabbing my ponytail and yanking it backward. She probably dreamed about kissing Ben, Kylie said, mocking me with a dramatic pout. I swear I didn't, I cried out, but Lena slapped me again. You think he'd ever want you, she spat. You look like something someone left in the gutter. Then came the worst part. Lena ripped the straps of my tank top. I screamed, instinctively covering myself. Oh, don't be so dramatic, Brielle laughed, filming with her phone now. We're just giving the school a reality check. They tore at my clothes like it was some sick sport. My jacket went first, then my shirt. I clung to my jeans, sobbing, pleading, but they were relentless. You want attention, Naomi, Lena purred. Let's make sure everyone sees exactly who you are. Kylie whispered ugly. Freak, filthy little worm. I sat on the cold floor, half naked, bruised and shivering, while they stood over me panting like animals. The video camera still rolling. No one's going to believe you, Lena said, finally, tucking her phone into her designer purse. Even if they do, who cares? You'll be too humiliated to ever come back. They laughed, loud and victorious, and before walking out, Lena knelt beside me and whispered the line I'd never forget. "Leave, ugly freak, before we make it worse." The door slammed shut. I was left alone. Beaten. Exposed. Forgotten. I stayed curled on that bathroom floor long after they left the tile biting into my skin, my breath shallow and ragged. My hands trembled as I reached for the shredded pieces of my clothes. My fingers couldn't close properly, bruised, maybe even fractured. I wanted to vanish, to dissolve into the cracks between the floor tiles. But I had to get out. I tied my ripped tank top into a knot to keep it from slipping down. My jeans were barely intact and I had no jacket. I wrapped my arms around myself and cracked open the door. The hallway was silent. School had ended over an hour ago. I limped down the hall praying no one would see me. But fate wasn't done humiliating me. As I turned the corner, I ran into Coach Ramirez, who stared at me, eyes wide in horror, then confusion. He said my name, asked what happened. But all I could do was cry. I was taken to the nurse's office. They called my mom. The school administration. They documented everything, photos, a written statement. I didn't even know what I was signing. I was numb. The worst part, by the time I got home that night, the video was already online. It started with a blurry still shot on a burner Instagram account. My torn shirt. My face mid-scream. Captioned, "Ben's new girl gets what she deserves." Then came the comments. "WTF, is she even wearing Naomi Hu? OMG, she looks disgusting." "Desperate, much, Lena's a queen." This is what happens when you mess with royalty. I didn't sleep that night. I stared at the glowing screen in my room, every ping of a new notification cutting deeper. I shut off my phone, then turned it back on, then off again. By morning, it had 4,000 views. At school, it was like I didn't exist, but everyone knew. Whispers followed me. Some girls looked at me with pity, others amusement. Some guys laughed, nudging each other as I passed. No one spoke to me, not even the teachers. I overheard two of them in the staff lounge through the cracked door. "We can't accuse the girls without proof. There's a video." "Yes, but who filmed it? Who leaked it? Their parents will sue if we're not careful." I wasn't just beaten. I was buried. By Friday, my mom begged me to stay home, but I didn't want to hide. Not anymore. Instead, I went back to school with my head down, wearing the biggest hoodie I owned. That's when I noticed something. A new email in my inbox. No sender. Subject line, "They messed with the wrong girl." Attached was the full, unedited video filmed from the ceiling corner of the bathroom. A secret camera. I watched the video with trembling hands, my pulse thudding in my ears. It wasn't grainy like a phone recording. It was clear, steady, and from an angle none of them could have captured. The security camera. The footage showed everything: Lena's slap Kylie, yanking off my backpack, Brielle laughing as they dragged me. Every strike, every insult. The exact moment they tore my shirt. Lena crouching to whisper her final words. I sat there stunned. Someone had sent me proof. Someone wanted me to fight back. "But who?" I replied to the anonymous sender. "Who are you?" No answer. Just a second email a few minutes later. "Use this. They don't get to win." I didn't sleep that night either. But this time it wasn't because I was broken. It was because I was planning. By Monday morning, the original viral clip had been mysteriously taken down. The burner account vanished. I guessed whoever sent me the real footage had filed takedowns. Or maybe they knew something I didn't. I brought the footage to the school principal, Mr. Harris. I expected him to brush it off. But the second he saw the file, his jaw clenched. "This changes things," he said quietly. The district launched an immediate investigation. Lena, Kylie, Brielle, and Mia were pulled out of class for questioning. The rest of the students buzzed with rumors. I didn't speak. I didn't have to. Later that afternoon, the entire school received an anonymous email with the subject, "The Truth About Lena Carver." It was the full video. Unedited, uncut. Every word, every hit, every sneer. The footage spread like wildfire. Phones lit up across campus. I watched students whisper, gasp, stare at me wide-eyed in the halls. Some looked away in guilt. Some came up to apologize. The silence that had once surrounded me now shattered into 1,000 voices, and none of them were laughing anymore. Lena's group tried to deny it, but the evidence was too strong. The principal suspended all 4 girls pending expulsion. Parents were called in. Police became involved. I still didn't know who had sent me the footage. Until the end of the week, I found a note in my locker. "We don't know each other, but I was in the stall when they attacked you. I was too scared to speak up. But I saw them disable the camera. What they didn't know is I hacked it back on. I'm sorry I didn't help sooner, but I hope this helps now. See, my knees buckled. I clutched the paper like a lifeline. Someone had cared. Someone had seen the monster under the crown, and now the whole world had too. The following Monday felt different. Not safer, not yet, but quieter. Like the storm had passed and left wreckage behind mine, theirs everyone's. For the first time in weeks, I walked into school without my hoodie up. I wasn't confident. I was still healing, but I was visible. Some students avoided eye contact. Others offered quiet nods or awkward smiles. A few whispered, "I'm sorry," when we passed. It didn't fix what had happened, but it meant something. At least now they knew. That afternoon, Officer Ramirez, the school resource officer, asked to speak with me. In a small office near the gym, he explained that a formal investigation was underway. Assault charges, distribution of explicit material, cyberbullying. They crossed every line, he said firmly. "And you're incredibly brave." I didn't feel brave. I felt raw, exposed, but also something else, strong. The media got wind of the story. I kept my face hidden in every interview, but the message was clear. What happened to me could happen to anyone, and it has to stop. My mom cried when I told her I wanted to speak at the next school assembly. "You don't have to," she said, cupping my cheek. "No one would blame you if you just wanted to move on." But I couldn't move on, not yet. Not while so many others stayed silent, stuck in the same pain I knew too well. So I said yes. Ms. Duval, my English teacher, helped me write the speech. I didn't want it to sound like a PSA. I wanted it to sound like me. The day of the assembly, I stood backstage behind the velvet curtain, hands shaking, heart racing. The gym buzzed with chatter. Students fidgeted in the bleachers. Teachers watched me with cautious hope. Then the mic was in my hand and the spotlight hit, and suddenly it was just me. And them. I began with the truth. Not the sanitized version, the real one. I told them about the bathroom, the bruises, the humiliation, the fear. I told them how it felt to be filmed, and laughed at how it felt to walk the halls invisible. I looked directly at the crowd and said, "There are monsters in our schools and they don't all wear masks. Some wear makeup. Some wear varsity jackets. Some get straight A's, and they thrive when we stay silent." The gym fell silent. I ended by showing a 30-second clip of the uncut video, not the violence, but Lena's face. Her smug grin. Her final words, "Leave, ugly freak." Then I said, "I won't leave. And I'm not the freak. The freaks are the ones who think cruelty makes them powerful." The room exploded in applause. Some students stood, others cried. It didn't erase the past, but it lit a match, and I was ready to set the darkness on fire. In the weeks that followed, everything changed. Lena and her crew were officially expelled. Not suspended. Expelled. The police pressed charges and their parents tried to hush it with lawyers and threats. But the evidence was ironclad and public opinion was a firestorm they couldn't control. Some of the girls tried to apologize through text, through notes slipped in my locker. I didn't respond. Maybe someday I'll forgive them. Maybe. But not now. What I didn't expect was how many other students started coming forward, people I'd barely spoken to, people I thought had it all together. One girl told me her ex-boyfriend used to hit her. Another confessed she was bullied for her weight in freshman year, and still had nightmares. Turns out pain is everywhere, and silence lets it grow. Ms. Duval helped start a peer support program. Students could talk to one another anonymously. I volunteered to lead the first meeting. We called it Room 406, after the classroom they first pulled me into when I was found shaking and torn. I stood in front of the small group, maybe 8 kids the first day, and told them, "If you've ever felt powerless like no one sees you, this is your place now. You're not invisible anymore." And they listened. That Ben found me by the lockers one afternoon looking nervous. "Hey," he said, scratching the back of his neck. "I saw your speech. I didn't know. I should have—" "It's okay," I said. And I meant it. I didn't need his validation. I didn't need a boy to make it right. But hearing him say it helped. I started painting again, something I hadn't done since middle school. I painted a self-portrait, not of what I looked like, but how I felt. Broken pieces stitched together with gold, like those Japanese bowls repaired with golden glue kintsugi. Stronger, not in spite of the cracks, but because of them. At the end of the semester, I won the school's Courage Award. I didn't expect it. I didn't need it. But when I stood on stage and looked out at the students, I realized something. I had become the girl I once needed. The one who didn't look away. The one who fought back. And now, no matter where I go, I carry her with me. Because the bathroom they trapped me in, it wasn't the end of my story. It was just the beginning. If you've ever been made to feel like less, like your voice doesn't matter, like your pain isn't real, I want you to know this. They don't get to decide your worth. Not the bullies, not the whispers, not the silence that follows cruelty. What happened to me was horrifying, but it taught me something priceless. Speaking out is power. You may not have video proof. You may not have someone in the stall next to you with a hidden camera, but you have your truth. And the moment you decide not to carry shame that isn't yours, that's the moment they lose. Stand tall. Even if your knees shake, even if your voice trembles. You are not what they called you. You are not what they did to you. You are more, and you are never ever alone.